It was exam time at Joe's school. Every day, their teacher gave them loads of homework and told them they should be working hard so as to do well in their tests. Joe didn't take any notice. He reckoned he would rather be playing football. He didn't care if he came bottom in the exams. His mom and dad told him that he should be working harder, but the weather was sunny and Joe had better things to do. "Shall we go to the park?" he said to his friend Finn one afternoon. "We could take a football and have a kick around." Finn shook his head. "I need to revise," he said. "I'm going home to do some maths." Joe was amazed. "You'd rather do maths than football?" "Maths is important. Besides, my mom says she'll buy me a mountain bike if I do well." "That's crazy," said Joe. Finn shrugged. "Wait until I beat you in the test and you watch me riding past on my mountain bike." "You won't beat me," said Joe. "Oh, yes, I will." "Oh, no, you won't. Just you wait and see." For the first time ever, Joe wanted to do well. He couldn't bear it if Finn came top and he did badly. So when he got home, he opened his maths book. There was so much to do. Suddenly, he felt like he'd forgotten everything he'd learnt that year. He couldn't think where to start. He was still sitting there when Bella came in chasing Casper the kitten. "You don't look happy," she said. "Your mouth is all sad." "You wouldn't be happy either if you had to learn all this maths," said Joe. "I would just use my magic pencil. It always gets the right answer." "That's silly. There's no such thing as a magic pencil." "Yes, there is. Look, I'll show you." Bella ran out of the room and came back carrying a shiny silver pencil with a fluffy unicorn stuck to one end. "What a silly thing," thought Joe. But Bella was beaming and he didn't want to hurt her feelings. So he picked up the pencil and looked at the maths question. To his surprise, he saw the answer straight away. After that, Joe worked hard every evening. On the day of the maths test, Bella said, "You can use my magic pencil if you like." "No way, I don't need your pencil," said Joe rudely. He was thinking about how much his friends would laugh if he came to school with a fluffy unicorn pencil. Bella was cross. "All right then, I'm not lending it to you." "Fine by me." When Joe arrived at school, everyone was talking about how much work they'd done. Finn kept grinning at him. The look that said, "I'm coming top, just you wait and see." Joe began to panic. He sat down at his desk, opened the test paper, and felt like he couldn't do a single question. There was a knock at the door. "What is it, Bella?" asked Joe's teacher. "We're busy now." "Just something Joe forgot," said Bella. Before anyone could stop her, she skipped over and put her magic pencil on Joe's desk. She grinned at Joe as she left. Joe picked up the pencil. He looked at the fluffy unicorn and could feel himself calming down. He knew it wasn't really magic, but somehow he could do all the maths questions after all. When the results came out, Joe had done even better than Finn. "Well done," said Mum. "I knew you could do well if you tried. We could go to a movie to celebrate, and you can choose which one." "I think Bella should choose," Joe said. "I'd never have done it without her magic pencil."
"Are we nearly there yet?" asked Bella, banging her feet against the back of Mum's seat. Joe, who was sitting next to her, groaned. That's the 10th time she's asked that, and there's still miles to go. The Hobson family were off to Scotland to visit Nana and Gramps. It was school holidays, and they were going to spend a whole week there. They had crammed all their suitcases into the car and said goodbye to their friends and to Granny, who was going to look after their pets while they were away. Now, Bella and Joe were sitting in the back seat, but Bella was bored. "Why don't you have a nap, Bella?" suggested Dad. "I'm not sleepy." "Why not watch another film on your tablet?" "Don't want to." "Let's play I Spy," said Mum. "You start, Joe." Bella always enjoyed playing this game. Joe had to choose something that he could see, and everyone else had to guess what it was. Joe looked around and saw some cows grazing in a field. "I spy with my little eye, something beginning with C." "Car," guessed Mum. "No." "Camper van," guessed Dad. "No." "Cloud," guessed Bella. "No." "What is it then?" "Cow," said Joe. "But I can't see any cows," said Bella, looking around. "Well, no," Joe admitted. "We've gone past now, but there was a field of cows before." Bella wasn't pleased, so Joe let her have a turn. The trouble was, They soon ran out of things to "I spy." There wasn't much to see, apart from fields and hedges, the road in front of them, and the traffic going past. So it was a great relief when Dad suddenly said, "I spy coffee," and Mum turned the car off the motorway and into a motorway service station. Having a snack cheered everybody up. Then they put more petrol in the car. "It won't be long now," said Mum as they set off. But as Dad drove towards the motorway, they got a terrible shock. There were cars as far as the eye could see, and none of them was moving. It was a giant traffic jam. "There must be roadworks," said Mum. "It's going to take hours," said Joe. Dad turned the car around. "We won't go on the motorway. We'll take the small roads instead." "But we don't know the way," Mum said. "We'll use our phones. They will show us the way." They drove into the hills. There were no more cars. There was no traffic at all. The trouble was, soon there was no phone reception either. "I knew this was a bad idea," said Mum. "Nonsense," said Dad. "I know where we're going." Bella fell asleep. The roads grew narrower and turned into country lanes. Eventually, they arrived at a crossroads. "Now what?" said Mum. "Left or right or straight ahead?" Said Dad. "We're lost," said Mum. "Admit it. There's nobody to ask either." Mum and Dad started squabbling. Joe sat and wondered what they should do. He had no idea which way led to Scotland. The only good thing was that Bella was still asleep, so at least he didn't have to listen to her complaining and asking how long it would be. Suddenly, Bella woke up. "Are we nearly there yet?" "No," said Joe. "We don't know which way to go." Bella pointed out the window. "That way," she said firmly. Dad started the car and drove the way that Bella had pointed. "But she's just guessing," Joe said. "She sounds very sure," said Dad. "After all, we have to go somewhere." They hadn't traveled far when Mum gave a cry. "Look, a signpost! Bella was right." Joe had to laugh. It might have been a lucky guess, but still, if it weren't for Bella, they would still be arguing at the crossroads. "Are we nearly there yet?" Bella asked. "Yes," said Joe. "This time we really are."